Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Living on Lemonade podcast. This is officially episode 100, which is super fun. I had recorded an episode that I called bonus, so it's technically 101, but officially episode 100. So I'm excited to celebrate that. Now, today's episode is a replay from an online gathering that I hosted free in the Living on Lemonade community, Facebook community last week for the full moon. It is a meditation and cord cutting session, and I thought it would be a good podcast episode as well for those who aren't in like deeper into my community. It is an opportunity to review the last year and release what no longer serves in preparation for walking into the new calendar year and kind of a new season of life. We have winter solstice coming up. There will also be a new moon online gathering through the Living on Lemonade community. I'll put the link in the show notes if you want to be in that community with us to see the offerings, both free and paid that I have. And it'll be the new moon one is where we kind of plant the seeds of intention for 2026 before we move into the new calendar year. And we'll be using the new moon energy and winter solstice weekend to kind of, get in the vibes if you want to, if I want to say it that way. So, yeah, enjoy the episode. Make sure that you are safe. It is a meditation, so not while driving, somewhere comfy, cozy. We did it in an evening, so it was a perfect wide wind down activity. Grab a journal, your pen, and feel free to jot things down, make any notes. We'll do a little bit of journaling, reflective work on what comes up. It's always nice to look back on and just kind of see how things are evolving. So yeah, I hope everyone enjoys it, and we'll see you in the next episode. Okay, good evening, everyone, and happy full moon in Gemini. It is Thursday, December 4th, and the peak of the full moon, I believe, was at 6:14 p.m. That's when it was kind of at its like biggest. But I noticed on my drive home that it was super big and bright as I was just talking with Lindsay. So I'm just recording this for anyone who wants to tune in over the next couple days and still kind of soak in the big full moon vibes. As always, when we start sessions, we just kind of take a moment to maybe shake off the day, take a few deep breaths, and just kind of wind down. I know for at the time of the recording, it's 8 p.m. Eastern. So I know for me, if I'd had time when I got home from work, I was going to have my shower and be all ready for bed. But I'm going to do that right after and then just kind of cozy in. So this is an opportunity for us, especially if you're watching this in the evening, to just kind of let it be part of your bedtime routine as you're winding down. So I invite you now to just take a couple moments and stretch it out if you need to a little bit. If you got a little extra kind of energy from the day that you need to shake off, shrug your shoulders, shake your arms out, kind of twist around, however that feels good for you. And we'll leave a minute or so to just take some nice, deep, nourishing breaths to kind of wind down from the day, get out of our busy mind, and then back kind of into our body. And then I'm going to lead us into a meditation, and we'll do a little bit of cord cutting, which, if you're not familiar with cord cutting, it's kind of like visualizing cutting attachments between us and some of the external things that might be weighing heavy on us. And um yeah, so we will spend some time just in meditation and kind of taking advantage of this last full moon of 2025. Now, in terms of symbolism, the full moon is big and bright. It's like it's lots of energy and it symbolizes release work. So when we think about how we can lean into that. We can look into what have we been holding on to. We can use it as a mindfulness practice in what have we been holding on to lately that it's time to let go of. The moon kind of shows us those things. It illuminates the emotions. The moon represents emotions. And with it being in Gemini, one of the biggest themes of Gemini is kind of like communication. Now, if you've met someone who's like super bubbly and super talkative, if you think about at school, they they might have been a Gemini. They're like the talkative, super talkative. Yeah, exactly. So that's talkative communication. So themes around that. Is there something that you've been holding back from communicating lately? And can you make time to bring that up and out? Or if it's just something you have to do on your own, we can do it with some of the cord cutting. And even taking a step back further in the grand scheme of 2025, when I was kind of preparing for tonight, I still have a kind of a desire to like get it right. But at the same time, I felt resistance in doing some of the research and diving deeper into Gemini and stuff. And it just felt right to just take that one theme and then kind of take a step back and look at it as this is the last full moon of 2025. Let's use it to release some of the things that we've walked some of the path that we've walked through the entire year and see what kind of comes up in our meditation and how we can release and what we can release and just kind of leave behind in this year and move into 2026 with a kind of fresh start. So, all that said, let's take a moment. We'll take some big, deep, nourishing breaths. You can do it with your eyes open, eyes closed, whatever feels comfortable for you. As I always say, there's no particular way to do it. The only thing I would say is leave your exhale longer than your inhale. That stimulates the vagus nerve and that parasympathetic nervous system response, and it gives those signals to your body that you're safe and you can relax. Anything that was going on that may have been hindered a little bit in the busyness of the day can kind of settle in, digestion and all those things. And if you need a little extra kind of body support, nervous system to support, you can put one or both hands over your heart space. That kind of just connects you somatically back into your body. And on your exhale, well, on the inhale, breathe in with your nose, hold in at the top a little bit, and then exhale either through your nose or your mouth. If you need a little extra, like you feel like your body needs to lean into it, I would say breathe out with your mouth and just let your shoulders come down too when you do that and feel your whole body kind of relax. If your tongue is on the roof of your mouth, let it relax down. Notice if your jaw feels clenched and just relax it. If so, take note of where your shoulders are too. If they feel like they're up near your ears, it's a sign of stress. So just take some time to drop them, maybe give them a few rolls forward or backwards if you need. And just imagine kind of clearing your head of the day. In that exhale, if you need to blow out your worries, you can do that. It can be helpful. Just let the day kind of melt away, sink back into your body. Couple more deep breaths. One thing I usually forget is to take a bit of an inventory at the beginning, like 1 to 10 on how you're feeling, maybe tension or stress wise. And then after a few deep breaths, kind of reevaluate and see where you are. And if that number has gone down, you feel more relaxed. You can even imagine if you're seated, you can imagine roots growing into the earth from your tailbone, just kind of holding you, feeling nice and connected to the earth and all that grounding energy, like you're a tree reaching down into the earth. If you need a little extra support, imagine those roots reaching down to the core of the earth and kind of wrapping around, just like you're anchored down. You just kind of lean back into your body. So where I want to go tonight, I think, now that we feel grounded, like our physical body's grounded, you want to close your eyes. I'm gonna take a little journey because we're gonna do a bit of a review of this past year. So what I want you to do is imagine that your kind of soul or that higher self, that part of you, your intuition, that part of you that has the wisdom, that gets those gentle, beautiful nudges um, to do things, or when you just can't really explain where it came from, it might not feel logical. We're going to take that part of ourselves. We're actually going to float up and out of our body. We're going to look down and see ourselves seated or laying down, depending on what you're doing. And we're going to start floating upwards. We're going to float so high that we can see the rooftop of our home. We're going to float up and see our town, maybe our province or our state, our country. And we're going to go keep floating so far up until we have the earth in sight that's below us. So we're just kind of out into this space where we can receive what we need and kind of review things from a distance. Now, if that feels a little unsettling to you, you can imagine that there's still a tether attached to your body. So you still have that connection. You're just taking a little bit of a journey. And from up here, we are going to look back on the last year. If you're a visual person, you can perhaps see it in a way that in one direction you're looking forward, and then if you were to visualize yourself turning 180 degrees or around, looking backwards. You can visualize it as a calendar and you're taking a walk through some of the months. And I just want to take a couple moments, however that journey looks for you. If you want to walk back through the months, just walk the path of the last year, see how that comes up for you. If you're not, if you have a hard time visualizing, you might just get sensations. If you're more like tactile, it might be physical sensations or just feelings. You might also just, if you're more, I would call it claircognizant or clairaudient, if ideas just kind of pop into your head sometimes, or if you kind of hear little messages and it sounds like your own thoughts, but it doesn't necessarily feel like a thought, information can come through that way too. So I just invite you to ponder and explore, do a little bit of a review over the last year in whatever way the information comes through to you. And yeah, we're just going to sit with that for a moment. We're going to look back over the beautiful adventures and the love that we have received and given, the places we've been, the people we've spent time with, the memories that we've made. Just soak that in for a moment. Feel all that love from the past year just coming into your heart, giving you a big heart hug. Take a moment to kind of feel into the gratitude of that. I think sometimes we get busy in our lives and we sometimes forget, we can forget to kind of count those blessings. So sometimes when we take a moment and look back, it's like, wow, they can kind of flood in and just give us a big wave of emotion, a big heart hug, as I call them. So just give it a moment just to take that in whatever way you receive it. If it makes you feel a little teary-eyed, just kind of breathe into it. This is one way we can kind of honor the light in a symbolic, kind of figurative way. I was just thinking about how winter solstice is coming up soon, which is our shortest day of the year, and how we can honor, can welcome light, can honor the dark. We're going to do a little bit of both tonight. We're going to look at both sides of the experiences we've had this year. And just allow them to be seen, felt, and heard. And after you've kind of soaked in those last drops of all that goodness, I want to allow it to hold us and hug us while we also honor and see some of the more difficult parts of the year. And we're going to go somewhere with them after. Just an acknowledgement that the path isn't always bright and sunny. And there's beauty and there's beauty in looking at and honoring and feeling and seeing some of the hard parts of the year too. Just taking a moment for that. Know that I'm holding you energetically, holding the space. If there's something that is fresh, sometimes even though we've kind of in this meditation distance ourselves just so we can kind of look at things from a distance, sometimes those fresh experiences it takes time to have perspective on it. So I don't expect that to be there. But if there is an experience from this last year that comes up for you that you have received some wisdom for, a lesson, or just any other type of kind of wisdom, I guess. Something you can bring with you into 2026. Then I would like us to acknowledge that. How have the difficult times of the year challenged and perhaps strengthened you? Could be in ways that you look at things. It could be a change of perspective, a change of priorities. If you've lost a loved one, it can allow space to lean in to the relationships that we still have earthside and hug our loved ones more, right? And prioritize that quality time with our loved ones. Sometimes the difficult things come in and they shake our world, but they sometimes shake it up with purpose in how we look at things and how we choose to walk through life going forward. So if you have some wisdom or a lesson that you've already learned this year, does it feel okay to thank it and give it some gratitude for how it may have enriched your life? And for anything else you're working through, just know that healing comes in time, and there's no timeline. There's no end date. It's just a journey. Just taking a moment to honor where you are, where you've been, both in the warm fuzzy and the times that have challenged you along the way. And with that, I think we'll go into a bit of a cord cutting session. We're going to allow ourselves to kind of release the emotional and energetic ties that we have and that we hold between ourselves and some of the things that we simply have no control of and that may no longer serve us. So what I do visually, and you can find whatever way kind of works best for you, but I imagine it as like a cord between maybe my heart center, especially if it might feel triggering or linked to grief or any big emotions, because yeah, emotions are kind of in that chest, that heart center, that heart chakra. I'll imagine like a cord, and however, like the intensity of the attachment to this thing, the bigger the cord will look to me. So when I'm severing the cord of attachment, if it's a big cord, I might need like a chainsaw, for example. And if it's something smaller, maybe just a pair of scissors. So you can kind of play with that too, on how you feel attached to it, in what ways visually. Or again, if you have a hard time visualizing, it might just feel heavier or lighter. You might have a sensation of it's there, and what does it feel like? So I'll repeat a mantra and I'll use different things to cut the cords of. And then I'll leave a moment at the end if there's anything else that comes up for you that you can repeat it. So the mantra that I use, and I got it from one of my mentors, Carrie Lynn, is I now release the cords of attachment between myself and blank. So we'll fill in the blank. And I transmute it back to love, 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 love. So it's like you're cutting cords between yourself and what no longer serves you. And you're imagining all of whatever that is, transforming, transmuting back to love, which is the highest vibration. So we can start with, I now release the cords of attachments between myself and self-doubt, the ways I have doubted myself throughout the last year. And I transmute it back to love, 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 love. I now cut the cords and attachments between myself and negative thoughts towards myself. I transmute those thoughts back to love, love, love. I now transmute the cords and attachments, or I now cut the cords and attachments between myself and judgment towards myself and others along the way. And I transmute it back to love, love, love. I now cut the cords and attachments between myself and any harsh words I've used this year that I feel any guilt or shame around. I transmute it back to love, 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 love. I now cut the cords and attachments between myself and any guilt that I'm holding on to that feels heavy. I transmute it back to love, love, love. I now cut the cords of attachment between myself and any shame that is weighing heavy on my heart. I transmute it all back to love, love, love. I now cut the cords of attachment to any fears that have been holding me back or weighing me down. And I transmute it all back to love, love, love. I now cut the cords of attachment between myself and any worries that I've been holding on to. Surrendering them, transmuting them back to love, love, love. And I'll allow a couple moments. If any other words are popping up in your mind, coming up for you that you would like to cut the cords and attachments of, transmute back to love, you can do that now. Anything that can't come with you into this next year that's ready to be let go of. Anything that's been holding you back that you know you're ready to walk away from and move into a different way of being or doing. You can use this time to cut them away, release them with love. And as these things sort of float away, also take a moment to observe that, those cords being released and kind of floating into the ethers. And at the same time, I think it's really beautiful when we can honor those things we're cutting away, because oftentimes they're things that keep us safe. So they're not necessarily bad things. They've kept us safe for a time. They've helped us move through a difficult chapter in life and made it possible to survive, be it physically, emotionally, mentally. And after that chapter has kind of ended, some of these things we can hold on to as a safety blanket. So when we're ready to release them, we know that the timeline for it has finished. It's nice to just know that they kept us safe for a time and have a little bit of gratitude towards the role that it played in whatever chapter of life we were in. And then just kind of bless and release. And when you're finished with the cord cutting, we are going to, however this looks like for you or feels like, we're going to pivot on our path and we're going to move like we're walking towards 2026. Whether that's seeing a path towards the number 2026, or you're looking at a calendar, however that looks or feels, notice if you feel a little bit lighter, if there's a little bit of change in sensation. like you've left some or all of what you need to leave behind in 2025. You've kind of released that in preparation for moving towards this new year, new calendar year. And when that feels ready, you can kind of visualize like you're starting to take those new steps. And we can take a moment before we finish up this meditation to start to kind of declare and get an idea of what we want to bring in next. Because in 2 weeks, we're going to have a new moon. And new moon is time to kind of call in that new energy and to start walking that path or see how we want it to unfold. So this is an opportunity to kind of start getting those glimpses. How do you want to show up in 2026? What does your next evolution look or feel like? And kind of start leaning into feeling into that a little bit, just as a taste. And then in a couple weeks, we'll do another meditation. You can catch the replay if you're not able to join live, but in 2 weeks, we're going to then kind of, that'll be the theme. It'll be leaning in. But right now, it's just kind of, you're just kind of pondering after what you've let go of. What do you want to turn towards? And how do you want to walk into 2026? And when that feels complete, we are going to thank all of the experiences of 2025 for what it's had in store for us and what it will have in store for us if we don't totally understand it yet. And we're going to start to make our way down towards the earth, floating down. Maybe you're using that rope that's still tethered to yourself, still feel connected. So we see the earth coming down. You can see our country, see our province or state. You can see our town or our city, the roof of our house. And then we're back in the room that we're in, sinking back nicely into our body. And take a moment to kind of fully integrate again. Do a little stretch, a couple deep breaths again, come back into your body. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes, come back into the room. And then just kind of allow it to sink in whatever way that looks like for you. It might take a few days. And one way that can help integrate is if thoughts come up in what you experience in the meditation and the cord cutting, you can jot them down, do a little bit of a journaling session. One thing that's really cool, especially if I'm able to kind of play this out, is typically with the full moon, because it's letting go of, we look at 6 months prior. So we would be looking back at May of this year and what was going on then, because that would have been the new moon in Gemini. So that's when we're kind of paving the path and then looking at those same themes of like communication and stuff and releasing. So you can use new moons and full moons in the calendar year of like these kind of 6 month cycles, that every month and every astrological sign has a different kind of piece of life to look through and different themes. So it's if you journal or just even jot a couple notes like full moon November, or sorry, we're in December, so would have been when was our it would have been June. June? For some reason I was thinking it was May. Anyway, obviously I'm ready for bedtime too. But it's kind of a cool way, and I'm going to start doing this to then kind of track and look back at like what was happening each month and how things kind of play out. So, especially with the new moon, setting intentions, and then 6 months later, when it's in the same sign, but the full moon, what has come into fruition in that theme over the last 6 months, and what then needs to be released. So, that's something I'm going to try and like build in this group. So, I hope I hope this session was nourishing. If there's any follow-up questions once you catch the replay, feel free to send me a message. And yeah, I hope everyone has a lovely evening or whatever time of day that you're watching and listening. And I'd love to hear what came through for you if you feel like sharing. All right. Good night, everyone.